first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now on this Friday. That is a shot I wanted to pull up here. That is from Ski Bowl. I mean, earlier this week, there was nothing on there. That's what's happened this entire week. But I mean, it looks amazing. I'm ready to go skiing. But beside that, we do have some important things to talk about today. So we are live streaming, of course, on our Facebook channel, on YouTube, on our website, and our app. So lots of places to join the show. And one thing we do also encourage is if you're watching on social media, feel free to drop in your comments or questions as we go throughout the segment. Now, this is something that we actually talked about yesterday, as you can see there in the lower third, about whether or not the pump your own gas law should be repealed. We've had it for a few months now in effect, and certainly a lot of people have some very strong opinions on that. There is an initiative to actually have that repealed right now, so that was just put forth. We spoke to a representative who is pushing for that initiative yesterday and got their side of the story and how they feel about it, but we feel that it is good to get both sides, and that is why joining us right now, we have Senator Jeanine Sullivan, who is one of the original sponsors of the actual bill, the House bill, that brought this back to the state of Oregon for the first time in decades. I think it was the 50s was the last time that Oregonians were able to pump their own gas. And now we're back to it. So, Senator, thank you very much for joining the show here for this conversation. And, to start off, I think I would love to hear from your standpoint what it was that made you want to help support this bill to begin with.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here today. First and foremost, I'm a state senator from Western Washington County. I represent Forest Grove, Cornelius, Hillsborough, the Rock Creek area. I heard from constituents why this was important to them. I also saw the polling from the state of Oregon, which was 67% supported the Oregon plan of 50% of the lanes being self-serve. Ultimately, this was a bipartisan effort that I was excited to be a part of, having people have the right of choice at the pump. I believe that we shouldn't have to have people idling for 15, 20 minutes waiting to get gas. That really the ease of having them being able to go up and choose if they want to drive up, pump and go, or wait for someone to provide them service really should be their choice. And also the gas station's choice. Like, they may not choose to do this type of service, self-serve. They might want to just do full service all the time. And they have the ability to do that with this bill.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're required to have at least 50% where will be a full service?
So if it's 50, no,
okay,
it is the station itself can determine if they want to allow self-service. They could say, no, we only want to do full service. That's something that we have the staffing for. We are certainly able to do that. See, that was one of the main reasons why this bill came to be, is because gas stations were not finding the attendants. So they were coning off lanes, and the lines were getting longer for people to have to wait to pump their gas. So it's another reason that we brought this bill forward, is that those folks were just not there in those jobs.
And since it's passed and gone into effect for everybody here in the state, what's the feedback that you've received so far?
So August 4th is when it came in, right? So not too long ago. Yeah. I can tell you personally, I drove over to the 76 station over in Hillsborough. I got out, I talked to Mitch. He's an attendant there. And I said, tell me about this. What is your experience? The guy was grinning from ear to ear and he would hug me if he could. He was so excited for this, because watching him, how much he has to work to maneuver across multiple lanes, it was exhausting just to watch him. And he said, look, there's some people that know what they're doing and they pull up and they get there and they go. There's some people that need some coaching, but there's my return customers that don't need coaching anymore. And so he found it to be a success. And I can tell you, I haven't heard from. Here's the funny thing. The folks that are bringing this bill forward, I didn't hear from them in my committee. They didn't come to testify. I never had a meeting with them to talk to me about this bill. They never met with me. And I haven't heard from them since. I learned of this initiative from the media.
So that's how you found out about this. And this was just a couple of days ago, I believe, that it was put forward, that we started reporting on it. So it's brand new, but we did speak to them yesterday, and I did want to bring up a couple of things that they said. One was that basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but these are their words, saying that this was a shill for the gas stations, that it's a grift, and that it's a way to not employ more people and keep the money. And so I guess, again, a paraphrase of what they were saying, but they did repeat those basic things over and over. I guess, how would you respond to that?
I think we stuck with our values on this bill, which is now law. Making sure that we were giving choice to Oregonians, making sure that we were giving choice to gas stations, whether they could do that, making sure we're protecting jobs and giving accessibility to those at the pump. So that is why. So it's bothersome to hear that, because when we brought the bill forward, there were literally thousands of jobs that were open in this industry. And so, which was the reason why people were coning off. We wanted to make sure that those that made that choice not to pump their own gas, like my 80-year-old mother-in-law, she doesn't want to pump her own gas. She never has had to so far, and she won't. And then those who experience, have a disability. We wanted to make sure that that's a federal law, that it's making sure that there's a protection there, because no matter what state you go to, if they have full self-service, that still has to be a service that is provided by the station if somebody pulls up to a pump. So we wanted to make sure that that was protected as well.
So both of those are included in there within.
Yeah, and Greg, can I also add that it was interesting in following some of the media, that it was what I heard, and you tell me if I heard incorrectly, what I heard was like a direct quote saying, it's not that there was a bunch of layoffs after this job, it's that what they felt was that jobs then, once people left them, they weren't rehiring for that position. And so they felt like that's what was happening. So I think I want to really reiterate that, is that we are concerned because this is a very difficult job to fill. And so that's why we wanted to make sure that folks know that it wasn't that this bill then put out and said a bunch of people lost their job. Those jobs were absent already.
Going from that to, and again, I mean, I think we've had people say things from all over, on all kinds of sides. And that's why I really wanted to have you on here to hear your side of everything. One other issue that was brought up, and this is just to get your response on that, was they said that this is something that should go before the voters of Oregon, that they should get to decide this, and that part of the initiative was to put it in front of the voters. I guess, how would you respond to that?
Well, I guess that's the legislative process too, right? If we put every single decision in front of the voters to choose on, that's why they put us in the position that they elect us to do, is to make these kind of decisions. This was a bipartisan work. This was two Republicans, two Democrats, and a whole lot of advocates working together on this policy. We have public process that folks can come in and provide testimony. I had community conversations where I answered questions with folks who were, change is hard, right? And they were initially, like when this bill was coming, they were scared. But then when they got the information, that relieved them, right? And so I think that is what, why we are elected, is to make these types of decisions for the state of Oregon. And we did so in a public process. And again, I never heard from this group.
Yeah, and fair enough. And that's, again, part of this of why we want to hear from you too, and hear what your comments were on that. I was going to try to pull up some of our comments as they're coming through. But I think the last thing, just about this as well, is, there's myself coming through, thinking about where it goes from here. Should this initiative get the signatures? Should it happen? Should it go forward? Are there any steps that you will take in the interim, I guess, to maybe keep that from happening, or anything that you can do on that end?
I think it's Oregonians that are going to speak to this. Like I said, 67% of Oregonians agreed with having this Oregon way. This Oregon solution for self-serve gas wasn't to make it full self-serve. It is the law that if it's not full serve, it has at least 50%, but it's the stations, it's up to the station. But I think Oregonians are going to speak very loudly to that. I think they're going to have a difficult time collecting the signatures, especially based on the fact that we just passed this in August. This has been, change is difficult to some people. What we really should be striving for is just making sure that we're getting good education out there for folks, so that they don't have any questions or concerns. And as far as I haven't heard anybody, any in the official capacity with any complaints. Like I haven't heard an update on, wow, the phone lines are lighting up or anything. I haven't heard that.
I'm looking here on just on our Facebook channel because we are live streaming on Facebook, and we've got Steve who says absolutely not. Price should have dropped as well. Julie says people should absolutely pump their own gas. Mike, I used to avoid getting fuel in Oregon just because I didn't like my gas being pumped. I prefer to do it on my own. So a lot of people for that. Fred says nope, I want to sit. Debbie says yes, it's a hardship for seniors and disabled. It also takes away jobs. So yeah, a lot of people, and Patrick, that's why all gas stations have to have 50% full service. And I think that's one thing too, just to clarify on that, because that's what you have reiterated, and I wanted to make sure that was clear. So with the law as it is right now, 50% of their pumps do have to be full service.
No, they don't have to be.
They don't have to be full service.
So if
they could go full self-service if they wanted to be.
Full, absolutely. It is the station's decision to do so, which again, this is to the point of consumer choice. If the consumers are upset about stations going to 50 and they want full, they could find a station in their area that only allows full service, or they can only drive in that lane that gets full service. If they choose to pump their own, they can go to that. Can I address the part that Steve said about the price difference?
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any influence with you're going to get a greatly reduced dollar amount if you pump your own gas, or you're going to pay this premium cost if you don't. We wanted to make sure that the price had to stay the same because, again, we wanted jobs to be part of this, right? We don't want to be influencing a job market or decisions to try to influence people away from reducing jobs. So we wanted to make sure that that price stayed the same.
And I appreciate you addressing that too. Yeah, and then we've got Aaron. I like being able to pump my own gas. So yeah, a lot of comments going through here, of just people having opinions on it one way or another. But certainly, it's been out there now for a few months. So I think people are starting to get used to it, and we'll see where the initiative goes. But Senator, I really appreciate you joining me and talking about this. Was there anything else that you wanted to add on?
No, I appreciate this opportunity as well. Constituents are passionate about the subject, and we just try to do as much as we can to provide good information and to provide any answers to any questions that folks have. And I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of what we're doing here with Fox 12 Now is just having this as a forum, to hear different sides, different viewpoints, and same to you and to the representative who was on yesterday from the union who was talking about this. I appreciate both of your openness to talk about this, and openness to the viewers who are watching this, who are leaving comments and putting stuff to and addressing what they're saying as well. So I fully, really, really do appreciate that very much of you being here.
You bet.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
You too. Enjoy your day. Take care.
Thanks. Bye. And for everybody joining. So again, this is continuation of that discussion that we were having yesterday. So if you want to see the other side, you can certainly go there and check that out on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel or on the Facebook page or Fox 12 Now, the Fox 12 Oregon app. Click on the Fox 12 Now button so you can go there and watch the other side and talk about why they believe the initiative should have come forward. But no matter what, there are a lot of opinions on this, and that's why we wanted to continue that discussion today. But we have more to talk about on this show. If this is your first time watching, we're live here every weekday at 1 p.m. Pacific, and I do encourage you, if you are on social media, to join in the conversations, or watch them afterwards, share them. There's a lot of options. Coming up at about 1:30 p.m., we're going to be talking about the Portland Book Festival, which is returning next weekend. We've got the executive director and the senior artistic director who are going to be joining us to give a preview of that, talk about the history of it, why it's important for the community, and what it really means for the city of Portland, and even beyond that, for the book community as a whole. So that's happening at 1:30. 2 o'clock, we've got the Fox 12 Weather video podcast. It's the Fox 12 Weather podcast, but the video edition. So you get to see everybody talking about that. And we have a lot more that happens on the website. So if you're watching on social media, being YouTube or Facebook most likely, we're going to log off. We'll log back on at 1:30. You'll get a notification. In the meantime, if you head over to the website or to the app, to the Fox 12 Oregon app, we continue the show. So we have more segments and more news that happens there that won't be on Facebook and YouTube, if that makes sense. If you have a question, send me an email, fox12now@kptv.com. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, I will see you at 1:30. If you're on the website and the app, I'll continue talking to you, and we'll continue